Nobody better at recording than Anthony, that's for sure.
John, do you want to start the call? You're on mute, John, I think.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Associates Town Hall meeting for the month of May. We're very excited and proud to have Blake Jurgis on the webcast this afternoon. Blake is the U.S. Kids Top 50 Master Teachers in America. He's a PGA certified member. He is on the teaching committee for the SoCal section. He is also on the player development committee, specializes in program development, coaching, and club fitting. Built the Crush It Junior Golf program and went from 0 to 75 kids in a 90-day period. He is also the coach of 4 PGA Junior League teams, totaling a roster of 54 junior golfers. Good afternoon, Mr. Jurgis. Thanks for being with us this afternoon.
Thank you,
Welcome to
Mr.
Town Hall.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for having me out today. I appreciate it. Like Mr. Kulo said, my name is Blake Jurgis. I'm the director of player development here at Coto de Casa Golf and Racket Club. I was here for the last 7 months. It's been an awesome opportunity to be a part of an elite club here, and just what a wonderful facility this place is. It's a 36-hole property, really big monster of a club, and my role was to kind of launch, I guess, coaching programs at the facility, where the coaching wasn't really going on at the facility. And it was kind of a huge kind of undertaking to kind of start launching some programs. And kind of as Mr. Kulo said, was the junior programs was kind of the first step. We've kind of launched a lot of women's golf programs and men's golf programs in the meantime as well. So it's been a great opportunity just to be a part of this facility, getting more staff members here to support our mission and our goals. So we're really excited for the future and what this facility is going to be in the near future.
And Blake, can you talk a little bit about your actual title there at Coto de Casa? I know Club Corp is really on the cutting edge of focusing on player development and teaching and coaching. And I realize you're in a position of leadership there, like I think on a regional level.
So my role is, as director of player development at this facility, I'm basically taking care of the whole membership as far as all the coaching programs go. Now the national level sends kind of some ideas that they have for us, and my job is to implement them and lead the staff. We have about 8 members or 7 members of our staff that are in the coaching program. And you're right, Club Corp is on the forefront of player development in the country, honestly. And they're working with side by side with the PGA. And the PGA is understanding what Club Corp is doing. Club Corp is kind of taking this model to a new level where they're seeing, and we'll kind of get into the presentation on the PowerPoint a little bit about some of the things that Club Corp is doing. And my role is to invent and create, do all the coaching, a lot of the coaching here at the facility, lead as staff members, engage our membership as much as possible, be able to give assessments and accompany plays, be out there playing with members. Whereas in the past, the assistant professional that was at the property gave lessons ever so often in the office. And so now Club Corp is seeing the value of what a PGA professional brings to the facility. And so they're saying, hey, we love you guys in the shop. You guys are great, but we want you guys in front of the members. We want you to be the leaders of the facility. I want you playing with the members. I want you showing them what you're about. I want you giving lessons. I want you engaging with people. And Club Corp is kind of putting people in place of player development professional level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, which we can kind of get into in a little bit later. But it's just an opportunity that Club Corp is taking to see how much value the PGA professional is bringing. They are noticing the increase. And so our jobs are increasing member engagement and member acquisitions and member attention at our facility. So it's a huge undertaking, but we're putting the people and staff that are going to be a great fit for this organization. So if you want to get in that PowerPoint, I'm not sure who has it, but I'd love to get it.
I got it, Blake. I'll
I have
bring it
it
up
right here, guys.
Oh. John, did you say you're going to share it? Or did you want
Yeah,
me?
I got it. I'm
Okay.
doing it right now.
Cool.
Perfect. Awesome. Cool.
So when you want me to flip through it, I'll just.
Yeah, I think this is great. I mean, just yeah, like John was saying, I'm a U.S. Kids Top 50 Master Teacher. Kind of my specialty. I was at Strawberry Farms in the past with the Henry Brennan Golf Academy, which is an awesome experience. We built a junior program and a huge academy there, from ground floor, from zero to, I mean, $1 million operation now. It's incredible to see what the facility has brought, and very proud of my time there at the facility. It was a great learning experience. Nothing but the best for the Henry Brennan Golf Academy. So our agenda today is to look at the member engagement, what our player development programs looks like, and then kind of the assessment / kind of lesson organization that we're going to be kind of taking into our club court facility or at Coda de Casa facility here. So if you want to go next slide. Perfect. So the member engagement here is so important. We have, as my role, I coach and teach about 40 hours a week on a weekly basis. Usually it's around between 35 and 40 hours. And the rest of my time, about 10 to 15 hours, is this thing called member engagement. And this could be used at public and private facilities as well. It's kind of the undertaking that the Player Development Committee has begun to realize, is that how we've been doing this at a private facility, we've been able to identify numbers and able to identify the success, what's going on. But our idea is that we're going to try to launch this whole idea out to the public facilities and semi-private facilities and resort everywhere. And it's kind of our big undertaking that we have. And as you see in this picture right here, is actually my Birdie Gals program. We've got about 7 ladies in this session right here. They've got cones and a bunch of stuff everywhere. They're a beginner golfing group and they're learning the game. This is an idea for member engagement. Now, these people are we'll call them my students in a way, or people that are under my care group. Now, the care group is people that I oversee at the club. So as my role, I have about 100 to 125 people that I oversee for members. Now, the reason for this importance is that if all of our members of our staff take care of people, then the people are going to be at the club longer. They might spend more money. They might play more golf. All of these things that that Club Corp is doing is the member engagement. And the 90-day rule is a kind of a rule that we have, is that we want to make sure that we're engaging with our clients, whether clients or even just people that might be wanting to leave the club or that are not kind of included in any groups. The 90-day rule is that we want to make sure that we're contacting these people at a minimum or a maximum time frame of 90 days, whether that we were inviting them out to play golf, whether we're coming out for a free assessment, if we just want to invite them out for lunch. We want to see these people, and so that they feel included at the club. So many times, whether it's at a public facility or a private facility, people go unnoticed. And our goal and our role here is to make sure that that doesn't happen. We want to basically have all of our members under care at all times and be able to kind of take care of them. I mean, I know it sounds so silly, but that's the idea. Whether it's giving lessons, whether that's including them in a group program, whether that's in a clinic, a club fitting, bring them out for lunch, whatever it is. Keeping these people engaged is so important, and especially for the public facility or from a private facility standpoint, is that we want to make sure that the member stays here longer. When people aren't engaged at a club, they've seen a stat for they average about 8 years at a facility. Now, when a PG professional takes care of somebody, they see a increase by at least 2 to 3 years more, more on top of their membership. So if we took care of all the members, we're going to be making millions of dollars. The facility be making millions of dollars over the course of 10 to 12 years, over the course that that's coming out. So that's the member dues, the all the member spend. We're going to be making more money down the road, and that's the we want to keep these people happy, want to keep them engaged, all that good stuff. So this is an idea for what are we doing to keep people engaged. Here is a program, the Birdie Gals program. They meet once a week for a class, and you know what? We actually have lunch afterwards. They love having lunch at the club, and so this is a way that we're able to kind of do groupings together as well. So this is just one of our programs. We have about I did math this afternoon. We do about 11 group sessions a week at the moment. That's 7 group sessions for juniors and 4 group sessions for adults. That's ladies and men included. And
Blake, do you break those programs out by sort of category type? Meaning, you know, we have the birdie program that you do for ladies. Do you guys do a program for maybe like competitive men, or how does that program break down? How do those programs break down besides, more specifically for adults?
Yeah. So, and this is, I mean, I think the junior stuff is, I think people are the junior programs are almost like, I think I'm not going to say they're easy, but it's easier than adults, because I think putting juniors and adults or putting juniors in group sessions, parents see a value in that for the socialization. Getting the adults into group sessions is a lot bigger challenge. And this is and all of these people that you see in this picture was just a raw conversation with all of them that I first met. And that one of the ladies in that picture actually posted something on Facebook like, hey, come out and join the Birdie Gals program. And we got all these people from Coda to Cause that wanted to come join. They're like, I had no idea about this. And so the word of mouth was a huge thing for us to build this program. For the men specifically, we have this program called the Biggest Loser Challenge. And the Biggest Loser Challenge is a 6-month program that we have currently 6 guys a part of it. And I wanted to kind of keep it small our first year of doing it, just kind of a trial and error thing. And the Biggest Loser Challenge is a monthly program. It lasts for 6 months. They get 1 group session a week and a private lesson in the month for 60 minutes. And they pay $350 a month. It averages about $50 an hour that they're paying for. So the group session is an hour and a half, and the private lesson is for an hour. It's a killer program. These guys, I mean, it's so funny that I was like, hey, it's guaranteed you're going to shoot lower scores. You're going to shoot 20% better in 6 months. I guarantee you, or money back. Like, you can have your money back if you don't get to your goals that you want. At month 2, we went from one of the guys got 32% better. One of the other guys got 24% better already. They're seeing a huge value in the group sessions. It's so funny. These guys are ranged from 8 handicap to 25 handicap. And it's the 8 handicap was only from the 25 handicapper, and the 25 handicapper is only for everybody else. And we work on short game, we work on the full swing, we work on the golf course. It's late in the evening because these guys have some of these guys have jobs, and so we put it later in the evening for them. And like we had the session last night, and every session's been different. They do this putting benchmark, and like, oh my gosh, this game is this drill is awesome. Like this benchmark game I never even thought about. And then we went to the golf course and we did this short game challenge, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is a great challenge. And they're incentivized to practice. I've incentivized them to practice and gave them a prize at each of the month for the person that tells me what they're doing the most. So if they're telling me they're practicing, or they're telling me that they're playing and they're giving me the results and what they're doing, I am giving them an award for them to do that. So now I'm getting these text messages, getting these getting these emails saying, hey, I played this is what happened, blah, blah, blah. And regardless of it was good or bad, regardless if I give them any sort of feedback, the fact that they're writing it down is the more that they're wanting to improve. They're looking for the way to practice. Like my coach wants me to write something down to him. And so this is another way to keep these people engaged. It's been 3 months now with the program beginning. The guys are loving the program. I mean, I was so nervous of starting it, honestly, because I'm like, these guys have had no sort of coaching in the past. They range and index from all levels. Like, I hope that it works out. And to be honest, I was so surprised about so far the results that I've been noticing with even these guys who are now he's got 6 index. He's went 9 to a 6 in about 2 months. He's like I'm learning from Brad, who's a 25 index, and I'm learning about his short game right now. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I know he can't get out of the tee really well, but man, his short game is awesome. It's way better than mine. And they're learning from each other, and they're competing with one another. And so adults can be in group sessions, and the adults, if you don't give it a try, then you're not going to know what's going to happen. So if you start the program kind of to the next point of program development, you can actually go to the next slide.
Hey, Blake, before you go there,
Yes.
This is Tom Parker. Hey, and I've seen your short game, so it's pretty darn good. But besides that fact, hey, I read about, I don't know if Club Court does this or if it's Troon or Kemper, but I read about, a program where we just assign an associate, one of our assistant professionals, whatever. You got these 20 members or 40 members, and you got these 40 members, and then you just, and you just take them through whatever they need, whatever it is. Like you mentioned, whether it's, lessons or club fitting or introducing them into the social side of the club, getting them into community things, whatever it is. But, I read about that, and we're kind of thinking about doing that at PGA West. And, I was wondering if you guys do that. It sounded like you kind of do, but, what your thoughts on that were.
You're right. This is the whole idea. So for instance, I'm a director of player development. I have a care group of 125 people right now. And my goal is to keep them activated or keep engaging with them at least 50% of the month, or 50% of keeping in contact with them, engagements. So I see about 70 people a week right now, honestly, within coaching. Some people are not part of my care group. We have a level 1, so a play development professional level 1. We actually just hired one who's one of my mentees. His name's Jeremy. Jeremy's a level 1. He'll get a care group of 30 people. And then we have our head professional, our director of golf. They have a care group of 30 people. Our first assistant's at level 1. He has 30 people. We have a level 3. She'll take about 70. I just hired a level 4 person. She'll take 100. We have another level 1 will take 30. So we have all these professionals that are having about 10 hours of player development, that are keeping about 30 people engaged in these programs or engaged in anything at the club. This is a way that, one, the professionals make more money because they're probably getting more lessons from it. They're putting in programs, and programs are adding more of a value, under value for the club. And then you have the members spend. And so Club Corp is saying, hey, we see the value. We want to incentivize you guys to do a good job, or to kind of keep these people engaged, because when you guys do a good job, the people are spending more money at the club. And when the people spend more money in the club, like, hoorah, here's some more money back to you. And they're kind of incentivizing us to be like, you're getting paid to kind of take care of people, and you're getting bonused out to do that. So we have about 850 people at the club. We have a very, very large club. We have 2 golf courses, and I mean, we still don't have enough staff. I think we don't have everybody under care right now. A lot of people are already engaged in the club. So these people that not necessarily are not going to take lessons, they're probably not going to take lessons. There's a lot of those people here, and not saying they won't, but there's probably about 500 people right now that are under care. So they're the ones that are we want to make sure that they're not going to be leaving. So they have this Army program, which is club often. Club Corp has this algorithm saying, hey, these people haven't been at the club very long, or they're not really spending money. Kind of, why is that? Can you give them a call and find out? So the director of golf and the first assistant are kind of taking care of those people that are being like, hey, what's going on? How are you doing? Like, get on the phone, calling these people, emailing them, whatever it is. Hey, come on, play. Come out and join one of the groups. We have a club fitting this weekend on Saturday. Are you interested in new clubs? Like all those things that that people, when a professional calls you, be like, hey, I didn't know my director of golf even knows my name, let alone like he's giving me a call now. That's an important thing for every club to be kind of doing, whether it's a public facility, my last academy, or a private company. You want to make sure that your people are engaged. You don't want to just kind of have them buy in and be like, okay, I took your money, see you later. Hope you have a great time. That's not our plan here. Our plan is to keep people.
Do you actually have a kind of like a ratio of how many members? Because what we're dealing with at PGA West, as you mentioned, I don't think we have enough assistant professionals, what have you. Nobody ever thinks they do, but
yeah,
we have 1,400,
mm-hmm.
and yes, not all of them are full golf members and the whole bit, but you want to get all 1,400 engaged in some capacity. So if I have six APs, I can't do 1,400 people with 6 APs. So
that's a lot. I love these questions. Honestly, this is why the player development committee almost exists in a way. It's like these are the questions that we want to see. Honestly, thank you for sharing those ideas. The idea for our facility is that if we're a level 1, our goal is to have you in the field playing with members, giving assessments, teaching for about 10 hours a week. The level 2 would be 20 hours of player development and 20 hours of in the pro shop. Then the level 3 would be 30 hours in the player development, 10 hours in the pro shop, and then the director of player development or player development professional level 4 would be 40 hours a week in the player development side of it. So the idea that when you have that many people, and like we have this issue too, and now we not have a perfect system. This is still fresh and raw, and we're trying to figure out ways and identify ways. But like for me, my instance is I have 125 people under care, yet I probably see around 200 people every 3 months, if not more. If I'm really engaged with the membership here. So I do group programs all the time. Like I said, 11 group sessions ranging from 6 people to 6. And at PJ Junior League, I had 54 kids once a week, and they weren't part of the practices. And then their parents were doing the birdie gals or the ladies boot camps, these clinics, or the summer camp. So hiring people is that if you hired somebody to take care of people on a full-time basis and you had more than one person doing it, you're going to be able to take care of more people. At first, you're going to be like, oh man, I'm spending more money on this person. I'm investing money into this idea that they're going to bring more value. But I'll tell you, what we're doing here is like, I'm on a salary basis, which has been great, but my value has brought the club more money in even the short term and in the long term because of my member engagement. I've brought now 7 more members of the club, and about $85,000 initiation fees. They're also paying monthly dues on that. So the value of a PGA professional is so critical, and getting those assistant professionals out of the pro shop as much as possible. And basically, if you need to hire some other people to run the pro shop a little bit to kind of counter that, that's a way to do it. But to invest in this program and to invest in the idea of, if you can start taking care of people, the club will make more money in the long term.
Hey Blake, I have a comment and then a question. Do you feel like maybe how, to Tom's point, well, how do you pick who goes under care? And do you feel like maybe those who haven't played or haven't been at the club, and I know that you guys track that, so they're most at risk of, leaving the club, right? So that's how you would essentially kind of prioritize who might be at risk, thus who needs more engagement. And then second thing is, um, to all the associates on the call listening to this, what Blake's doing in regards to group programming, right? So it's you're tackling a few different issues. The first one is obviously you're getting in front of more members. Second thing is, Blake, you and I talk about this all the time, that the majority of lessons conducted, right? So, you probably have a range of 3 to 4 things, slice, for example, putting lessons, chipping lessons, that you're essentially going over with, you're going over the same amount of information, that same set, multiple times, a week. So essentially, if you can get into an anti-slice clinic or stop 3-putt clinic, and as a coach, you're upping your revenue per event hour, right? So more people you see, you can charge less, consumer pays less, member pays less at group setting, and instructor is making more because you can see more people per hour. So, all the associates out there, and it's something the section we talk about a lot, it's not necessarily about one-on-one, or it's not there's anything wrong with that, but you're really looking at maximizing your revenue per event hour.
Yeah, those are great points there, Anthony. So the question you asked earlier was who gets under care? The first question you asked. So usually who gets under care is maybe some of the people you're coaching, because you're seeing them often, you want to take care of them. The other people would be the people that are not engaged. So if you don't have this algorithm that Club Corpus have, you can kind of, the people actually, there's people out in the country that they made an Excel spreadsheet and be like, hey, when was this last member played? When did this person, how much money they're spending at the club? Maybe you can look at probably a list of the 14, if we're trying to talk about PGA West right now as a case study, and you had 1,400 members and you said, hey, who's spending the most money? You kind of put in an Excel spreadsheet and be like, okay, this person spends the most money, and look at the bottom people. Why are they not spending the most money? Well, and when's the last time they played golf? When did they post the last round? You can look at their GIN handicap. You can do anything. You'd be like, okay, these bottom 50 people out of that 1,400, my focus is them. How can I keep those people more of a part of the club? And that would be kind of like my first starting block if we were using PGA West as a case study in a way. And the second part of it, with kind of the Anthony we were talking about, is kind of this whole idea of junior programs and adult programs. I mean, I think we're going to have our next monthly town hall meeting is going to be a fantastic speaker. I won't say who it is yet, but the idea is like, this is the model that is the coaching model is the new thing. And it's not new. It's been around for so long, but everyone's just kind of stuck in this, like, especially during COVID time, it's like everyone wants these one-on-one lessons. Everyone's so busy. And I have it here under the adult programs. I said, if you have a lot of adults in a privates, see how you can engage them in some sort of class, whether you want to do a 6-month program, whether you want to do a once a month clinic, whatever it is. Like I'm just starting up a summer scoring series. And here is a clinic. We're doing a putting thing for 2 hours. We're doing a wedging class for 2 hours. We're doing a driver challenge or driver class for 2 hours. We're doing an on-course thing for 2 hours for 6 members. I'm charging $100 per class for 2 hours. They're paying $50 an hour, which my hourly rate right now is $155. So I'm able to kind of see the 6 people in a class. It's more hourly rate for me, which is great, but I'm also able to help more people, which in the long run, it's more valuable for me because now I don't have to spend 6 hours of coaching one-on-one lessons to help those people out. Now I can spend 2 hours with 6 people, and my revenue goes up, my time is more valuable. The people have more fun doing it. They're more included. They're playing with their friends. They're competing. They're getting better. All of these are value adds for the member, and I won't say members, even just for students in general. So I'm noticing, and right now in COVID, is that so many people are so busy with so many private lessons, especially with adults. How can you basically say, hey, I see these 6 people. I kind of have a good idea. These people might fit with one another. Hey, would you guys be interested in something like this? It's a once a week class, or hey, it's a once a month thing, or it's an hour long or 2 hours long, whatever it is, and create something. I mean, if you don't start something, if you don't like kind of branch out, or you don't kind of create something that, whatever, if it doesn't stick, it doesn't stick, but at least you start something. And kind of, if you're a nice person, which majority of teachers are nice people, that's why people get golf lessons half the time. But if you start kind of including them into something like a group session of some sort, it's valuable for you, it's valuable for everybody. And like Anthony's saying, it's a lower hourly rate for these people as well. So that's kind of the reason why programs are so important. And whether it's a program for a one-on-one lesson as well, like if you have if you do a one-on-one lesson and you're trying to develop their program, well, you have to make sure that their investment is there. You have to know how much time they have, and then book out the rest of their sessions. And so, hey, here's your game plan. We're gonna be on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. and I would like to see you practice this time. I want you to send me a text message when you play. How can I want to kind of support you. Here's some practicing. Here's your development. You're at this index right now. Here's your goals. And that's part of the assessment that we'll get to in a second. Tom, do you have another question?
Thanks. I love the fact that you want PGA West as a case study. That's awesome, because we have a whole bunch of problems. And the one thing that I would say to, like, when I try to do this thing with, APs, like, all right, and then I give somebody, you got Mrs. Smith as an example, and he or she goes, oh my gosh, Mrs. Smith is horrendous and requires, 90 hours a week of time, But, well, if you get Mrs. Smith, then you get Mr. Smith, and then you get Mr. and Mrs. Smith's friends, whatever, but it's a long haul.
I love that. And maybe Anthony and I can discuss more about that. Anthony and myself and Josh, as a part of the player development committee, I mean, this is the whole goal of this committee, is to really support courses and support PGA professionals and these associates, and as all the associates on call, like, we're so passionate about supporting this. This is why we're putting this on. Like, we're passionate about supporting you guys and supporting kind of like the raw state that everyone's in, right? Like, some people don't even know about even teaching or coaching. What's the difference? And it's so cool that we're able to kind of help out as much as possible. And thanks Tom just so much for your feedback and your authenticity and being honest with us, because we want to support all clubs. Honestly, this is kind of our goal, and to shape the industry so that we can make a difference, not just for ourselves to make more money, but also for our clubs and for other people. I mean, the more people we touch in a way, the better better at the club. So now our managers are happy with us. So many clubs are kind of stuck in the way that they don't see the value as a PGA professional, because the people that are teaching on the range are just paying the rent for $1,000, and they're just teaching. Like, what value do they bring? They don't bring anything to me. They just pay me $1,000 a month. In reality, if we actually did the math, I bet they did a lot more. And if they did a lot more, the club would see, like, oh man, that instructor is very valuable. This is a reason why. But since nobody has those numbers yet, that is why the PGA professional is not seen as an asset until now. So I think that now we're making a shift in this industry into making a case for the PGA professional to be a huge and probably the most important asset to a club, whether it's a public facility or a private facility.
Blake,
So.
On that point, I want to put out a call for any associate or professional hearing this. We've been working pretty extensively with the national tech team. Create your PGA.com profile, and through that, you're going to get leads. But not only that, they're going to have an open registration tool. If you don't have an online registration tool or a way for you to track what you're doing, to what Blake is talking about is absolutely critical and crucial for any coach out there. Is we need to start tracking what we do in regards to member spend, and that's public, private, or otherwise, because I fully believe, like Blake is saying, that coaches are a huge portion and a big part of the heart and soul of a club, and we as coaches want to be able to prove our worth, and it's and not just not just even from a facility standpoint. That's just really for so you can know how much revenue you've done, how many lessons you've done, and through the PJ.com profile and the work we're trying to do with them on the tech team is we're going to start adding some tools that will automatically track elements for you on your behalf. So we will go ahead and contact your students and ask them, have you bought a driver in the past 6 months? How many rounds of golf have you played? What is your handicap like, et cetera, et cetera. So, we're really trying to connect the dots here, not only at the section level, but at a national level to arm you with as much information as possible for you to bring back to your club manager to show your value.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And it just kind of crossed my mind. If I was an assistant golf professional, I was one at a point in my career. If I was assistant professional, I didn't have these tools. I mean, PJ has shifted. I mean, I've been a PJ member now for 6 years now, and it's so interesting to see the way that PJ has changed like so quickly in such a positive way. Like, oh my gosh, like the PGA, the way that the PJ.coaches, I don't know if you guys have been on it yet, but the PJ.coach, the scheduling app is great. I mean, on the web browser, if you don't have a schedule yet and you've been using your iCalendar or just even a text message, and hopefully you remember, like, hey, here's a free way to start using a way to schedule your lessons. Here's a way that you're able to track your lessons now. I mean, so many times that we've seen instructors just use their phones to schedule, and they're like kind of missteps and like, oh man. I mean, even being at a private facility, I've received a ton of people from PG.coach. I know my friends that are top instructors in Orange County have received multiple per week in the higher density areas. So if you don't have a PG.coach area, like, this is an opportunity to, one, continue success, continue to show the manager and your GM your value of the club, and be like, hey, look at here, there's a PGA.coach thing. I got a PGA lead. What do you think about this? I mean, think about that. The person that's probably never been to the facility before, they're reaching out to you for coaching to get better, whether it's for their kids or for the adults, and they're saying, hey, can I get lessons? And it's the professional is being like, hey, I'm going to give them a call. Now we're connecting the person. I mean, just giving a call to somebody, oh my, the amount of people that take a value in phone calls is huge. And if you're able to kind of put the time and energy into it, whether it's on your drive home, whether it's you spend about an hour a day to kind of manage your assistant professional that you're only teaching, say 5 or 10 hours a week, and you spend an hour managing it. I mean, it's possible, even for assistant professionals that have a lot of shop time. If you're able to if you're passionate about a little bit of coaching, which the PGA is all support of, even at Club Corp, we're saying that, hey, this isn't professional, it's in the shop. We want you engaged. We want you teach. We want you playing. Like, that's our idea. And now, yes, there's some times where we do need to make sure that, we want to make sure that they're providing a proper communication, right? So as director of player development is to start training our staff members to become better coaches and teachers, to make everyone have a seamless lesson or a seamless group session, whatever it is, a priority. So if you have somebody that can provide that, and luckily for me, I've got the time and energy to kind of support my staff in their development so it's been a really cool thing to see. And PJ Coach has been a huge asset, even if I'm not using it from a scheduling standpoint, because I have Club Corp uses a different scheduling site. If I had this I would have used this as this is a professional, or I was at my private facility. Like I would have been using this all day long if I could have.
Hey, Blake, I want to give a 20-minute warning here. I know that I also want to open the floor for Q&A. And I know that we had talked about asking some questions, and maybe we can do some rapid fire for maybe for a few, and then open the floor up. There was another question Mr. Jeff Johnson asked. Let's see. The first question I wanted to ask you, we've known each other for a while now, and you back in your Henry Brunton days when you were just getting that academy started.
Yeah.
So how would you say your teaching style and philosophy has changed, over the course of the years?
Gosh, I mean, I thought the idea for teaching and coaching was just like these. I mean, when I was at Golf Academy America, it was kind of like learning the technical aspect. It's the private lesson portion of it. And I moved up to Northern California and just ran summer programs. And I was like, I was so young at the time. I was like, I feel like I feel like I didn't know as much as I wanted to. And I think I think people, they didn't call me out, but I felt like as a young professional, I was like, man, I'm way through this thing. Like, this is not appropriate. So I need to go out and get more education around this, and being able to know more information. And so I'm so lucky that Wilson was probably one of the greatest coaches I got to work under. In a way, he was actually Henry Brunton's coach in Toronto, but now he's a director of instruction over at Baltusrol facilities in the United States. What a fantastic person! But just the coaching aspect that he provided, the way he communicated, the instruction portion of it, it was, how can I engage people in this lesson from a grouping standpoint and coaching them as a group together? The old model, junior days of getting lessons, when I went to a summer program, they get a row of 6 kids, and they would kind of go to one kid and work with them for 5 minutes, and then one kid for 5 minutes, and they'd go back to the first kid and be like, hey, you're not doing that correctly, go back to this, and then the next kid for 5 minutes. And that old way of doing clinics is like, that's why clinics have a bad rap. I would never use the word clinics anymore. That's why I use sessions or classes or programs. So that's like what I've learned from my days of it was being an instructor at first, and then specializing in coaching and developing programs that are going to be better fit. And so when I worked with Henry's a phenomenal coach, and learning from him and work. I probably spent, just in professional seminars, was probably about 40 hours to 50 hours of education just in professional seminars. Then I spent hours of time with him in at dinners or angel games, whatever it was, and asking questions, especially in the beginning stages of the academy when we were first starting out. In year 2, we had 0 people in the first year. We had no idea what we were doing. Gavin and my associate Gavin and I were like, oh my gosh. And we started from the ground floor. We started one person at a time. Like, so if you're an associate or you're a PJ professional that hasn't been teaching that much, you have to make sure that you're starting with one person at a time and building it slowly and slowly and slowly. And then all of a sudden, after 6 months to a year, everything starts to get bigger and bigger. But you have to make sure it's slow and steady, do it the right way, don't feel like you're bull crapping your way through any of these lessons or these programs. That's a huge, I know that's, it's kind of a sometimes people, when I say that, people get shocked by it in a way. And Henry was a big, he was the one that actually taught me that was, people again, people kind of will, give saying stuff that probably shouldn't be said. So that's kind of what I've learned over the years, is trying watching my, it's just comes to communication, being just honest. And so that's the authenticity that I want to bring to the facility and to myself. What was Tom's question?
Well, Jeff's question first, because he asked it a little bit earlier, was, do you guys have like a second level? So basically, you know, the first iteration for group programming for your membership, you know, is it, you know, contigual, or is it going level by level? Do they feel like they're progressing through? And then the second question Tom asked was, you know, how does that group lesson, you know, how does your dollar rate change with group instruction?
Okay. So Jeff's question is, yes, we have different levels. So for instance, I did this Birdie Gals program. It's kind of like a beginner model into a program called the Ladies Boot Camps, which is kind of we'll call it the better ladies, a little more skillful. We might do the same games, honestly. It's just kind of with development. If it comes from junior programs, we kind of stage the kids by 6 to 11 years old, 4 to 6 years old, and 11 to 16-year-olds. So they and then we're going to start where I do a high school competitive program that I meet with them twice a month for sessions, and I do one private with them a month. That program, the high school program, runs about 4 months a season, and then they are off during the summertime. And then I actually hired them. Oh, can I get to the next point? And then the junior programs for the months a year. Those go 12 months a year. They pay $120, basically $30 an hour. So if we have $30 an hour, and it's kind of to kids, that means we have $360 in the pot for an hour. So if you guys can do math, my private rate is $155, and my rate for a group class, and I can hire an assistant, is $360. I would take the $360 all day long. If I do the group lessons for my adults, so the Birdie Gals program, for example, $3 for the charge. Today I had 6 ladies. That means I made $240 an hour. So, like I said, if you want to make more money, this is an opportunity for that. But also, ladies have a lot more fun, and they want to come back every week, and it's always full. They always have lunch afterwards. It's always a great time.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Blake, this is Tom. You mentioned about the value that player development is adding to Club Core, and how you guys are getting rewarded properly for it. And from a GM perspective, how do you track data? So you show value on a piece of paper, on the spreadsheet.
So we look at it for people under care. So I have 100 people under care. And we look at what the members spent, or what the customer spent year 2020. Obviously, it was kind of weird. Some January, February, March. And how much they spend in January, February, March for 2021. Was there a difference? Yes or no? And so the value that we're being compensated is that we get a certain percentage that they spend. So we're incentivized to be like, hey, we're trying to make them spend more money at the club, and that's kind of if they're spending more there, and there's more cart fees or spending the pro shop or club sales and stuff like that. You'll see they track it based on our, we use macros, so our PO, what they spent in 2020 versus 2021, or even years prior to that as well.
So the POS
That-
tracks all the data. Is that how you track it? The POS?
Yeah, so a lot of the scheduling sites, some of them do have some sort of customer relation management. And have a public facility.
Like you're getting a little spotty there. I'm not sure if it's
I
the
think it's
area
his,
or what.
it's his bandwidth. Blake? Blake?
Tom, to answer your question, yeah, they run through the POS system, and for those at a public facility and who, don't have the luxury of, obviously, if you work at a public facility, you can't run every member through the POS system, although there are tracking elements. That's again the PGA.com tool. Through the registration portion, that's an easy way, and that essentially tracks any customer activity on your behalf.
Right. Got it. Yep.
And Blake? Blake? There's Blake.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, now certainly the corporation Club Corp has invested in this director of player development at many of their properties from a member retention standpoint. How much training are they laying down in these positions? Or is it kind of a foregone conclusion that they're just looking for a PGA member who's free to run the player development program by his own design, or is there a formal training structure and grid that you follow?
Great question. So yes, we do vice president of player development, and that person's role is to train initial hires in. So they are club professional, comes into the program. They go through a week to week. They go a 1 month training, 1 hour a week with a group of other professionals. Member retention, going over how many assessments or how many company plays, what your care group looks like, what the expectations are, how the whole system works. And then they help you with, hey, if you don't know anybody and you want to give somebody a call, you never met them before, here's how to have a conversation with them and how to. So yeah, we do a once a week training for that. We also do once a week. There's opportunities for more training when it comes to our event or just questions about our systems or resources, whatever it might be. And then my job is to kind of train the staff as far as a coaching standpoint to kind of keep people with them once. I meet with my team once a week as well. My head pro and I, and director of golf, we meet with the team once a week to see, hey, how are you doing? How many assessments have you done? How many company plays? How's your lessons going? Have you made any phone calls? So that making sure that everyone's keeping everybody accountable. It's so important to kind of meet with your team at least once a week to keep everybody on the same page.
So if you are a brand new to the game, beginning golfer, never had a lesson before, you go to Indian Wells, you go to Coto de Casa, are you going to receive similar type of instruction?
Similar type of instruction, no, I would say. I mean, people have their own, we'll call it their own flavor. So being the same philosophy. Yes, at Coto, we'll call it my philosophy is kind of unique to our facility. So we're trying to be maybe different or just kind of using that. Indian Wells might have a different operation. But when it comes into the care list, the member engagement, the assessments, playing with members, all of that stuff will be very points different. And from a group standpoint, of all our adult programs, none of the clubs that I've seen so far are doing what we're doing here, which is fine. We're kind of inventing, we'll call it what we're inventing the wheel. Kind of launched stage 1 clubs at about 8 properties or so. Then they kind of moved it up into other properties, like Indian Wells runs one. I've also started junior crush it programs as well. And those kind of things are, we'll call it, those coaching programs are going to be pretty similar across the board from club to club. Like I said, put a little new flavor into the mix. So that's good. It's what we do here.
Blake, would you say how much of your time with your students, your clientele, how much of that time is focused on junior golf?
I've been specializing in juniors for so long. I want to make sure that a lot of the adults here were never getting lessons. So right now it's about 50-50 still. When I first came here, it was kind of inventing the program a little bit to let's see, programs from 0 and moved all the way to 75 kids in 3 months. Now we have about 75, still 80 kids, and we have PG Junior League as well. So there's so that they can succeed. And then my goal is to kind of do the adult programs. And then once everything kind of gets in place, we'll have like a week. Programs will be flourishing. Everybody will be full. And it's just kind of making sure the systems in place are correct. Coaching facility, we're almost there. We're getting our first TrackMan in, which is awesome. I've been begging for one since they got here. But we've ramped up our coaching. So from 2019 January, we've ramped up our coaching 250%. From, I believe we did $9,000 in January. We did about $30,000 to $50,000 worth of coaching in the month of May. So we're doing about 250 to, I don't know, 300% more coaching. Anybody else have any other questions?
Do we have any associates out there that have any questions?
Blake, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
From a quantifiable standpoint, have you seen member retention levels rise?
Great question. Yeah, so I think because our program's still kind of newer, like I said, when we're careless are not leaving the club and we're kind of gaining more members here, then we're seeing a value in. If anything, we've seen social because of COVID, but now that everything's that kind of portion is going back, we've seen a lot more less golf as well. So they pay a significant amount now. So we haven't been we have a lot of members, right? So we have 250 tennis members. We have about 400 social members. So in total, we have about, I think it's like 1,400 members that we engage as many people as possible. And so and obviously we're trying to get more social members and tennis members. And now they're starting to play more golf with all the programs we have. So.
Okay. Everybody, last chance for questions here. All participants have been asked to unmute. Looks like Stephen Vigiano, looked like he may have had a question. He popped on and popped off there. Stephen, did you have a question for Blake before we wrap it up?
I can't wait for this one. Steve was my my old head pro at Coyote Creek Golf Club.
Oh, I'm here. I'm very proud of you. Very proud of you, Blake, to see how far you've come. You're doing a wonderful job, and I'm glad you're devoting yourself to teaching and player development. So just want to let you know how proud I am of you, and I'll enjoy watching your PGA journey, because I think you're going to be one of those guys that changes the paradigm of this game in a very, very positive way.
Thank you so much. Wow. It's great seeing you, Steve. It really does.
You too. I'm
Thanks,
back in
bud.
Southern Cal, so hopefully I'll see you soon.
Love it. Love it.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Anthony, do you have anything else to add before we wrap it up, or Mr. Sun? Tom?
No, John, again, Blake, thank you so much for this very informative presentation. Thanks for your time. Thanks again to Anthony as well. The Player Development Committee done a great job last 2 months in starting out the town hall for the associates for the SCPGA section. While we didn't have so many associates on the call today, I think it's great that we have this presentation recorded. And what I will do is, if John can send me the presentation, recorded presentation, I will send that to all associates in the section this week, and let them have an opportunity to view this the very helpful presentation for their professional growth. So while we didn't have a lot of associates, I will send it out to all associates, and that's where it's going to come in into play. It's going to be really helpful for associates, and they'll hopefully realize how important, pertinent this town hall is, and they'll have more participation from associates going forward for many months to come. So thank you again, Blake and Anthony.
Thank you for putting this on and having the idea for the town hall. Thanks to you and John for being on and allowing the associates to have a forum to talk. So really appreciate both of you as well.
Thanks.
Likewise.
And hey, Blake, anytime you want to use PGA West as a test case, yeah, absolutely, buddy. Absolutely. Love it. Thank you so much.
So Anthony, are you recording this, Anthony, or am I?
I am. Yep, I got it. Yep.
Anthony, if you just send me the recording to me whenever you can, I'm going to send it out to all associates.
Will do.
And just last words really quick before, if anybody has any questions,
Famous
for anybody's support.
Yeah, Blake, we'll make sure to include your info and when we send out the email or the follow-up. So thanks for that.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, John. Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, take care, everybody.
Okay. Have a good day, everybody.